Coming up on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports, we're going to be diving into the latest Vikings injury news. We actually got some scary reports about Mekhi Blackmon and Akayleb that occurred during the joint practices against the Titans yesterday. So I'll be diving into all that and giving you what you need to know. And then also, we're going to be diving into a Vikings versus Titans Week 2 preview. And I got 5 players that I have circled on the Vikings roster that I am excited to watch. Welcome to the Vikings Now. My name is Patrick Siepman. And guys, I actually just started a new Twitter account. So I'm going to be tweeting about the Vikings all year long, tweeting out practice highlights and the whole nine. So if you guys want more Vikings content on your Twitter, give me a follow at Pat Siebes. I'll put that in the comment section and the description of today's show. If you guys give me a follow, I'll for sure give you guys a follow back. So let's dive into the latest Vikings injury report heading into the Week 2 preseason game against the Titans. Jordan Addison kicks us off, as he did suffer a concussion a couple practices ago. They haven't officially ruled him out yet of the game tomorrow night against the Titans, but he is for sure not going to be playing in that one. Then we get to TJ Hockenson, the tight end. He's been kind of working on his own off to the side during like team drills and even during individual drills and kind of doing his own thing. I thought that was because he was going to get a contract extension. Turns out he has an ear infection. So TJ Hockenson, he's, I guess, all good. He's just dealing with a little ear infection there, so he'll get that cleared up. But this was the scary news yesterday. Mekhi Blackmon, there was a report that came out that he was taken off on a stretcher, actually, and it was because of an upper body injury. It turns out it was just his shoulder, and he actually tweeted out, "We're all good." That was a little scary. So I think everybody in that Vikings organization kind of held their breath a little bit when Mekhi was getting carted out, but he looks like he's actually all good, and his status for tomorrow is actually still up in the air, so that is all good as well. And then Akayleb, he got absolutely rocked yesterday during practice. It was actually Viking on Viking crime. Him and Josh Metellus, there was the Titans running 2 crossing routes, and literally they just ran straight into each other, and Josh Metellus absolutely laid out Akayleb. So he has a concussion. Don't expect Evans, obviously, to play tomorrow night. And then Brian Asamoah, this was an undisclosed injury. He just wasn't practicing yesterday. He was still off to the sideline, just going through some rehab stuff and still a part of the practice. But we don't know with him. And then also Kene Nwangwu, he had an undisclosed injury as well. He just took the day off yesterday, so we don't really have an update on that. But if we do get one, we'll make a video, so make sure you guys subscribe. And then Jalen Naylor, he also had a leg injury that held him out of practice yesterday. His status for tomorrow's game still up in the air. With him not playing during the first preseason game against the Seahawks, I don't expect Naylor to be out there. I think they'll kind of shut him down and not have him play during the preseason at all. Let's get into players to watch, because this is the one I'm excited about. Vikings Week 2 preseason is finally here. And the number one player, I think this is probably number one for every single Vikings fan. It's got to be Ivan Pace Jr. And guys, hop on the hype train. Everybody all aboard. The hype train is off the rails for Ivan Pace Jr., frankly. I mean, he was wearing the green dot Week 1 against the Seahawks. He was calling all the plays for the defense, and he has just lived up to the hype. Like, all the reports that came out of training camp of him being, like, kind of living up to his top 100 draft status. Obviously, he did go undrafted, but he's been kind of proving everybody wrong. He's been absolutely balling out during Vikings training camp. So all aboard the hype train. That's my number one player that I'm excited to watch, because, dude, this dude just freaking hits, and I'm excited to see him lay out some Titans this Saturday. And the number 2 for me is still Mekhi Blackmon. Obviously, with the injury yesterday, his status is still up in the air. I don't expect him to play, but he has been getting a lot of first-team reps at practice, which I find very interesting because, going into the year, we thought it was going to be Byron Murphy, Andrew Booth, and Akayleb. Well, it turns out already the third-round rookie out of USC has already stepped in for Booth, and he's been getting a lot of the CB2 and CB3 reps for this team. And even if Mekhi Blackmon can't go, I'm still interested in seeing the battle that's going to go down here at the cornerback position. Obviously, we do got Byron Murphy. He'll be holding down the CB1, but that CB2 battle, and honestly just the overall cornerback battle in this group, it's going to be interesting to see who gets that nod. I probably got to say, if I had to predict my cornerback starters for Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously Byron Murphy, he gets CB1. I'd probably go Evans at 2, and then I do think Mekhi Blackmon gets that nod at CB3. But let me know, who do you guys think is going to be the Vikings cornerback 2 Week 1 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think it's probably going to be Akayleb, so I'll be typing my AEs down in the comment section. But you guys let me know. Type MB for Mekhi Blackmon, AB for Andrew Booth, or give me an AE for Akayleb. Number 3 for me, and honestly, he's turning into one of my fan favorites. Jalen Reagor. Like, obviously, he's kind of a bit of a meme amongst Vikings fans because he was taking the pick before Justin Jefferson. But I liked what he did last year for the Vikings. Even though on the field he wasn't as productive as I would have liked, but he was always that guy jumping up and down, hyping up his teammates and just overall being a really good teammate. And he's had a great camp so far, and he had a great week 1 of the preseason versus the Seahawks. He had 5 receptions for 55 yards, was the Vikings' leading receiver, and I think he's got an outside chance to be the wide receiver 4 for this unit. I think 1 through 3, that's undisputed. It's going to be Jefferson, Addison, and then KJ Osborne. But, hey, at that wide receiver 4 spot, I think it's going to come down to the 2 Jalens. I think it's going to come down to Jalen Nailor or Jalen Reagor for that wide receiver 4 spot for this team. I think right now I'm a big fan of Jalen Nailor, but if I had to choose one of these 2 guys, probably going Jalen Reagor gets that nod at wide receiver 4 this season, and he's a guy I'm definitely pumped up to watch tomorrow night against the Tennessee Titans. But I want to ask you guys, who is the player that you guys are most excited to watch tomorrow night? I probably got to go Ivan Pace still, but even a guy like Jalen Reagor, I'm excited to watch him play as well, and just overall the whole battle in the secondary. But I'll ask you guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Who are you most excited to watch play versus the Titans? Number 4 on my list is Andrew Booth Jr. Booth obviously struggled last week against the Seahawks. He actually didn't get any reps in the first half, which I thought was weird in general. And just overall, we all know he is not the best scheme fit with what Brian Flores likes to do. Booth, he ran coverage, more coverage-heavy packages in high school and in college. Then obviously we know Brian Flores. He gets it from Bill Belichick. Like, it's just all man, get up in your face, and that's not really what he does. And I think this is a big game for Booth because we've already heard the rumblings this week about him possibly being cut from this team. I mean, the dude was a second-round pick last year. Like, if he would get cut before the start of his second season, I think it would be a big-time shocker. But Flores just came out and said, I don't care where you're drafted. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you have done during the National Football League. It's about this year, and we're going to assess you for who you are at this training camp and during this preseason. I think this is a big-time game for Andrew Booth. He just didn't look good last week, and also guys behind him look very good as well, like Blackmon, like even a Joejuan Williams. Shout out producer Rolly's Patriots. Like, he looked very good as well. I like his size, 6'3", really rangy. So I think this is a big-time game for Booth, and he's somebody I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes out for this Saturday. Now, number 5 for me, actually Nick Mullens. And if there was a player that I had to choose that kind of shockingly played well for me against the Seattle Seahawks, it was definitely Nick Mullens. Like, he impressed the hell out of me. I mean, he went 14 of 20, 139 yards, and a tud during the game against Seattle. I mean, overall, I thought the Vikings offense just worked out really, really smoothly. I thought he played very, very well. And just the offense, like, from comparison to when he was running it to obviously compared to when Jaren Hall was running it, it was night and day. I mean, the Vikings jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, and then their offense just went stagnant rest of the game when he wasn't in there. So I think he looked accurate. He obviously found Reagor a bunch in the first half. So he's a guy I'm honestly excited to see Nick Mullens play because I will say he is that one type of quarterback where it's like, yeah, you don't want him to start more than probably 3 or 4 games for you that year. But God forbid Kirk Cousins goes down with an injury or whatever it is and he's got to miss a game or 2. I think Nick Mullens could go be that type of guy that goes in and steals one and steals a game and maybe just keeps the Vikings afloat if Kirk were to have to miss time. Well, I ask you guys, I want you guys to pick a quarterback 2 for the Vikings during the regular season. Pick a QB2, give me an NM for Nick Mullens, or give me a JH for Jaren Hall down in the comments section. Love to know what you guys got to say. As always, guys, you guys can follow me on Twitter. If you guys give me a follow, I'll give you guys a follow right back at Pat Siebes. I'll put that link for you guys, comment section, and the description of today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Go Vikes.